can the Muse S finally tell the difference in between laying motionless and being awake and, in fact, being asleep?
Yes, yes, it can. And that comes back down to brainwaves. So when you're laying with your eyes closed, the EEG characteristic of laying down with your eyes closed versus actually being asleep is incredibly different. So, although physiologically it may not look different at other points in your body, like on your wrist or on your finger, in the brain we can tell immediately when you've moved from wakefulness into sleep. And in fact, we actually have a feature called the digital sleeping pill that is so precise, it is able to not just know, but anticipate as you're moving from wakefulness into N1 stage one sleep, and then adjust the audio content to help you fall asleep faster. So it is incredibly precise at identifying those shifts and changes in consciousness.
Well, we wanted to ask you about this because it's a really interesting term. And at surface level, it sounds like it's just some fancy marketing, digital sleeping pill. I have not tried this yet. I most certainly am going to. But tell us a little bit more about a digital sleeping pill.
Sure. So, I mean, we all know that wouldn't you just wish that you could, pop a pill and fall asleep? We also know that that's probably not a great thing to do unless it's magnesium and it's probably benign or possibly helpful. But, most other sleeping aids are not helpful in the long run and probably are disruptive to our sleep stages and our sense of wakefulness the following day. Um, in the digital sleeping pill, what we're doing is we are tracking your brain activity and giving you real time feedback on your brain activity that actually encourages your brain to fall asleep. So, how it works is you choose a piece of audio to listen to, and it could be a bedtime story, guided meditation, soundscape. We have all sorts of different content. And listening to that takes your mind out of your wandering, anxious mind that might be keeping you from sleeping and anchors you on the content you're listening to. Now, in the same way that when you're a kid, you might have had a kind adult tell you a bedtime story, and that kind adult is watching you as you're falling asleep and making their voice really sleepy. And then as they see your eyes are fluttering closed, they slow down. And when you're finally asleep, they shut off.
Mhm.
So too can the digital sleeping pill do that. Muse is tracking your transition from wakefulness into sleep and actually adjusting the audio that you're listening to in order to give your brain the cues that, hey, it's okay to fall asleep now. So as you move from wakefulness into stage N1, it lowers the volume, it adjusts the content, and if you fall asleep, it then turns it off. And if you haven't quite made it into N1 and you pop back up again, it brings the same audio back in and takes you back down gently again. And it's super effective. People who have difficulty sleeping swear by it, love it. And if you continue to wear the Muse throughout the night, if you wake up again in the middle of the night and have difficulty falling back asleep, the Muse automatically brings back in that same story or experience that helped you fall asleep the first time, because that experience has now been conditioned by your brain as a sleep cue.